Hi guys, it's Dave from the Fitness Formula. It's Wednesday live Q&A. So a little bit different today. What I want to do is actually show you guys the best way to monitor your progress and check for improvement. So a lot of people join gyms or health clubs, fitness centers, boot camps, running clubs, whatever it is, with a common goal that they want to lose weight. And I say this all the time to our members, our 6-week people, and generally everybody that I'll speak to, they'll ask me about results and goals. And when we have these conversations, so many people get hung up on the scales, and you'll hear me say it all the time. It has nothing to do with weight. When it comes to monitoring your progress and your results, you should be looking at other factors. Not only should you be focusing on body fat, muscle, inches and dress sizes and photos and how you feel and things like that, but more importantly, the deeper stuff, generally how your mood has been lifted, how happy you are, how much more confident you are, and how much more energy you have, better sleep, generally just a happier vibe and everything like that. So there's so many positives to being healthier and fitter than getting hung up and relying solely on the scales. So when we do programs with people here, they've got two options when they join. They can either do our larger group training outside, or they can do our smaller group semi-private training inside here in the facility. But either way, we give them the option to have their measurements done at the start. And I say the same to them, I'll say the same to you guys watching now, everybody that stepped through this door, that yes, we will weigh our clients, just because some people do need to lose weight purely for health reasons if they're severely overweight, 4, 5, 6 stone overweight. But if it's a matter of losing a stone or two, you shouldn't be relying on the weight. You should be relying on a few other things, which is what we're going to discuss and demonstrate in a minute. And those things are your body fat percentage, your muscle percentage, things like water, yes, your weight, we mentioned that, but most importantly, your tape measurements, your inches, and whereabouts on your body you're actually changing shape. So I'm going to show you guys in a minute just how to actually measure, or have somebody help you, a loved one, a relative, somebody at home that can help you measure yourself at home, or even try and do it by yourself. But you will need a tape measure, so we'll come back to that in a minute. But the thing is, what you can buy, and we've got a set here, they're quite expensive, but you can actually get cheaper sets from any stores, as the Tesco, the Range, Dunelm Mill, places like that, is you want a set of scales that don't just go by weight. Again, it's nothing like that. In the last 2 days, I've re-weighed and re-measured about 4 ladies in particular who've only lost a pound or 2 in the last 6 weeks, who might have been really deflated and disappointed if we had gone purely on weight. But then when we got the tape measurements out and looked at their body fat, some of them have lost 8 to 10 inches from around their body. In particular, a lady this morning hadn't even lost a pound, but had lost 3 inches on her tummy alone. The scales alone would not have shown that. She'd actually lost 2% body fat and gained 2% muscle, and that's why the scales hadn't changed. So you just have to remember that with the type of exercise you're doing, it's not about weight loss. And I'm not one for slating other businesses or companies out there, or other methods that seem to work well for so many people. But one thing that we hear all the time is so many people use Slimming World and Weight Watchers, especially for accountability and progress and things like that. The problem with Slimming World and Weight Watchers is they don't account for exercise. So they'll go purely by weight. It's all diet related, and I've heard it even some situations where they've discouraged exercise because of the weight gain factor from carrying more water and building a bit of muscle. But as I've just stated there, you actually need to build muscle to burn fat. We do something called raising our metabolic rate, our metabolism, by having a bit of muscle. And I'm not talking about big, bulky, scary muscle. I'm talking about dense, firm, toned, hard muscle that burns fat from around your body. Even when you're resting, when you're asleep, you're still burning fat and calories just from having a bit of muscle in your body. But that won't show up on the scales. So unless you get yourself some smart scales from any of those shops I mentioned a minute ago, that'll work out your weight, but also more importantly, it will give you a rough idea of your body fat percentage, your muscle percentage, and your water. To give you a target, ladies first, body fat, you want to aim for under 30% initially, and then under 25% would be a really good target, and muscle should be anywhere towards 40%. Water for men and women should be around 50%, and men, for those other stats, body fat should be hopefully under 20%, and then towards 15% and under, and muscle will be well above 40% hopefully for guys, because we carry more muscle and less fat than women. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, don't hate us, it's not our fault, it's just genetics. So that's what you're looking for on the scales. And when it comes to tape measurements, there's 9 parts of your body, men and women, that you want to be measuring regularly. We do it every 6 weeks with our 6-week program people, and then after that we do it every sort of 12 weeks just to make sure they're on track towards their goals. Because you do not want to get obsessed with this, and you don't want to get obsessed with the weight in particular. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for your body to make a physical change, so you have to allow time for those adaptations and changes to take place. So I'm going to call in my lovely assistant Sasha, who's one of the coaches here, who's going to go just there, and we're going to show you the 9 areas of the body that we like to measure people. So we start with arms by the sides, looking taller than me. Look, I've cut off my head here. So what we do is we just wrap it round the shoulders. I go in line with the armpit crease there. So we're going around the shoulders and the upper back. I won't read out the measurements, but that's how we do the first one. So that's the first measurement. After that, because I'm a gentleman, I will ask Sasha to hold this on her chest for me. And then she's going to lift her arm and do a spin. Actually, I can get it around. I can actually fit my arms around Sasha quite comfortably. So I'm just going to do it that way. And then we meet it in the middle here. And that's how we do a chest measurement. After that, we just go down slightly lower. We're going to go just below the bust or just below the chest. For men and women the same. Again, that's upside down. It's all backwards on telly, isn't it? There we go. So just below the chest here, usually the most narrow point to be fair. And then after that, we go onto the belly button. So that's the tummy. Unfortunately, guys, that's where we carry most of our body fat. So that's definitely a good place to measure. And then after that one, I would say around the bum. And it's really just trying to find the biggest part. So Sasha, if you stand side on, and then you can see just here, she hasn't deliberately worn the skimpy clothes. We are just about to have a team workout. So
bad timing. Yeah,
really bad timing. I just pulled her on the spot here. So we go round, measure around the bum here. And then what we do, again, if you face the screen there, is we just go for the thighs after that. And again, I would usually just say, try and find the widest part of the thigh, which sounds a bit cheeky, but it's going to be the fleshiest bit we can find. It is quite high. So definitely get someone that you like to do that bit, or you can do that bit yourself.
I ain't got a choice.
You know, got a choice. So just around the top of the leg. Same on the other side. It's quite normal for them to not be even, believe it or not, guys. Sometimes there could be an inch or so difference in the thighs. It's not uncommon, so don't panic. You're not abnormal. It happens all the time. No one's going to notice it. And then arms, we say arms out wide, and then we just go in line with the center of the bicep here. And then the same on the other arm. Thank you very much.
Guns.
Boom. There we go. So that's the sort of things you want to be measuring. You don't want to be relying solely on weight. I think we've had a couple of comments come through. Welcome to Fat Fighters. Should you use those calipers to measure fat/muscle rather than scales? Definitely, Paul Beige. They're very, very good. But again, they can be quite hard to get the same point every time, especially with calipers. You're trying to pinch an inch, basically. You're trying to pinch the fleshy parts that you can and then measure, but it can be quite hard to get the same point. And so can measurements, to be fair. Doing tape measurements, there's 6 members of staff here. We try and make sure that if I measure Joe Bloggs, Sasha wouldn't measure Joe Bloggs 6 weeks time, because the chances are we're going to get slightly different parts of the body. So that's why we have those areas to focus on. So if it's shoulders, in line with the armpit crease, without being rude, it's kind of in line with the nipples, but we don't tend to say it. We just say biggest part and walk around to be polite. Then it's under the bust. Then it's in line with the belly button. Bum is the fleshiest part you can find. Legs, fleshiest part you can find. And then around the center of the arms. And that's what you should be doing, guys, really no less than 6 weeks apart to really monitor your progress. And I would say before and after photos work really well. So I hope that's been helpful. Don't rely on the scales. It's a load of bullshit, and it'll only get you disappointed and disheartened. If all those women that I'd remeasured in the last couple of days had gone purely on weight, they would have been really upset that they only lost a pound or two until we'd done their measurements, and some had lost around 12 inches from around their body, and they're fitter, more toned, stronger, more energized, happier generally than they were 6 weeks ago. If I just said 6 weeks, hard work, you spent that money, you've worked your socks off, you've lost a pound, thank you very much, they would have been really upset. But there's a reason why they're going to carry on for more than the 6 weeks, and that's why. So it's not about that, guys. You've got to pick the right way to measure your progress. I hope it's been helpful. Give me a like or a comment or tag someone in that might have needed to hear this, and we will see you soon. Let me know if you need any help.